I did it. I left Sony. Or did I? Hey guys, my name's Miguel. Welcome back to another video. It's really been a minute since we made a video. We have some new lights, we have a new setup, we have new audio that I wanted to test out for a while. I've been so busy with the client work and my full-time job on the side as well. It's a little bit of a workaround to like try to set this up when I'm not using it, and then set it up to make sure that everything is right for a YouTube video such as this. So yes, I want to talk to you guys about this and this. If you've known me or have seen my work, that I shoot primarily on Sony. Started with a Sony a7 II. I've worked with like the 600 line, and my main camera, it's a Sony a7 III with 2470 Sigma, and this has basically been my workhorse for the last, I don't know, I think I got it a year after it came out. I'm not even sure how long this has been out, but it's been a while, been a couple years, and this has basically done everything for me, from photos to videos to weddings and everything in between. As I'm growing in my craft and I'm growing in my career, and I'm really trying to figure out where I am really in the scope of work that I want to be in, I have thoughts of, or I had thoughts about upgrading and like what's the next big thing. And you know, Sony's always coming out with cameras, what it feels like every other week. 7S III came out. They came out with the FX3, which are like the two big ones that everyone's kind of like going in between. And I had those similar thoughts as well, because I have Sony glass, I have Sony accessories, cages, the whole thing. This camera is still perfectly fine. The a7 III, it still does everything. I still use it from day to day, but I wanted something more. And is it like better frame rates? Is it better focusing, better colors, more dynamic range? I wasn't sure, and there's a lot of options coming out. And you know, you have Canon, which is tempting. You have some of the new Fuji cameras coming out that record 422 10-bit, and then you have the Pocket lineup. It's funny because the Pocket cameras have always been something that I kept on the back of my mind, and it made me think, with all the new Sony cameras, do I invest in like an FX3, which pushes it just a little bit more than A7S III? That logically made sense because I had, like I said, I already have all this equipment for Sony. I have this Sony glass that's great. Figuring out what's best for me and what kind of videos I want to do moving forward, it was really hard to pick and choose. I ultimately landed on the Pocket 6K and the 6K Pro. A lot of my decision was made really because of the full-time job that I have. So I jumped from a freelance position, which I'm still doing like on the side, almost as part-time. Nelly. My new full-time position is a DP, and we shoot primarily on like Ursa Minis and Pocket 6Ks. And I'm like, okay, well now I'm learning this equipment, I'm learning these cameras. And what I saw, the capabilities of what these cameras can do and the colors they produce, it was a no-brainer at that time. Those were the colors that I was looking for, and that was the quality that I was looking for, or the quality that I wanted for my videos moving forward. The cameras in itself are very easy to use. They have good menus. I picked it up, and like within like minutes, I was figuring out where everything went. It was so easy and so reliable. And once you get going and you see the things that you can produce with these cameras, like I said, it was a no-brainer for me. So far, I have been like blown away. The quality is just like, you can't really match it for the price point also. So built-in ND, tiltable screen, was it 12 to 13 stops of dynamic range. One of the biggest hurdles that I had making the change, which wasn't as big of a jump or as big as of like getting used to, was the autofocus and the battery life. Because you know, with the Sonys, they're well known for the autofocus, and it's so reliable and it's so fast. The battery, at least for this one, they will last me for, let's say if I'm doing a wedding, I think I'll run through like 2.5 batteries. The third one will almost like never die on me, and that's for like 10 to 12 hour days. Obviously with this camera, I don't think I would ever take this pocket to a wedding to record. The image might look great, it's just not as reliable. You know, I still have this because I'm gonna do weddings, but I got this ultimately because so I can make other types of videos, and so that those videos would elevate to another degree of quality and production that I wanted, with the compromises in mind that I was going to be producing something different where I wasn't gonna need autofocus, and I wasn't gonna worry too much about batteries because I could either plug them in, or I could get a B mount, or one of the like big fat Sony batteries. Don't have one next to me. You know, it made sense, and it made me work differently, and it made me have a little bit more attention to detail, because now I'm not only worrying about how the image is looking and how it's gonna look graded and all of this, which is another story, but I'm also more precise on my focusing, you know, learning to pull focus, learning to capture different angles, because now you also don't have stabilization, right? And that wasn't as big of a factor as the autofocus was for me, because I'm usually always handheld, so I like the way that looks. But that's something that I also like had to get used to, because some of the lenses, let's say like the 18 and 35, that doesn't have you know, like optical steady shot or stabilization on the lens, so it doesn't, there's like no help from either end. It was those hurdles that going into this big purchase that I was making, and the switch, I knew I wasn't going to be making videos that would heavily rely on autofocus and stabilization. It's kind of rewiring the way that I've always worked, because I've always relied on autofocus and stabilization, and it's kind of like an upgrade to my work and my workflow. It's also learning to color grade and think about shots and lighting and composition a little bit more, which is once again elevating me and pushing me to be a little bit better than I was. I still heavily rely on this for stills, as a B cam for video, for any traveling, any more like mobile on the go type of situations where I need something that's still really good quality. And on top of that has autofocus stabilization. The battery is great, and you have this amazing Sigma glass. I'm really motivated nowadays to create something for myself, and for you guys hopefully. And I have a lot of ideas that I throw to, like around my wife. We have this like podcast idea that's floating around, and yeah, so excited. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you soon.